So that job was important for me because that was the first job I got where like I could stop being a waiter. Like I could.
It was long. That was a long.
So that's when you really started making money.
Yeah, well, enough money to not have two jobs, which is like so valuable as an actor when you're not having to like work from 5 till 11 every night and like go home and learn lines and audition in the morning. So like, but I remember like being real like, I turned down that job a couple times because at the time there was like a stigma around doing Power Rangers. This is like in 05. Like nobody worked after they did Power Rangers. Like.
That's true.
So
I don't know a lot.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think. I'm just thinking in the moment, like
what is that attributed to? Wow.
Well, I think back in the day there were such like hard lines, like you do this or you do that.
Right.
Like even with actors, there was like either you're a film actor or you're a TV actor.
Yeah.
Now everything is blurry. People do podcasts.
Yeah.
They do TikToks, right? Yeah. It's like there's a lot more more movement in between the mediums.
Yeah.
But then it was like, oh, you did Power Rangers. Oh, you're not going to work again. So my agent at the time was like, Brandon, I don't think you should do this. And I was like, well, I like money.
Yeah, I gotta live, bro.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And like I was 25. I got to live in New Zealand for 9 months. I was like, this is a great opportunity. But I was a little worried. And then I think when I wrapped Power Rangers, I got She's the Man like 9 days after I got home. And I was like, okay.
Yeah,
the curse is on. Yeah, no, that was my first thought because like I was like a little like after like you go on like a stint like that and you come back home, you're like, oh man, like you're on like a high for 9 months and then you're back. I was still living with my parents at the time. I was like, oh.
I'm just curious because I've always kind of liked New Zealand. I've never been, but in terms of the pictures, in Auckland specifically, what was that like down there?
It's incredible, man. Especially like as like a 25-year-old kid making a little bread. I had an apartment like literally on the ocean. Like I took advantage of it.
What's the ocean down there?
It's beautiful.
Which ocean?
The Pacific.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. No, like they filmed Lord of the Rings down there for a reason. It's special. Like, like it looks special. Like it's unlike any other place I'd ever been. It's one of my favorite places on the planet.
They still go all the Power Rangers stuff down there? They go down there for most of it, right?
They have been since. So the original shot everything in LA. Yeah. And then I want to say when Disney bought it, they moved it down to New Zealand because it's cheaper. Yeah. And I think they've stayed out there. So I think they're still shooting it down there. I think like they just had the 30th season or something. Yeah. Like it's still going on.
Do you still do do you get asked to do the conventions and all the stuff?
Yeah. I'll go if I have time, if I'm available. Yeah. And like those fans are like, there are no more loyal fans in the world. Like they will stick by you through thick and thin. So yeah, like I'll go and do
my kids knew Rebby here right now. Cartwheeling, and my kids are still 8 and 10.
Yeah. So. But what's really dope about that is like, that was what 20 years ago. Yeah. But like I get like 25-year-old kids who are like, yo man, like I never seen nobody look like me be the leader of nothing until I saw you. And they were like 8 when they saw.
Yeah, because the Red Ranger is the lead.
Is the leader.
The lead.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And
you know what's beautiful about it is that my kids, because of streaming platforms, the rare few moments we'll give streaming platforms a shout out. They discovered it recently. Okay. They did just Power Rangers in general. Okay. So you could stream all the different seasons. So like they watched it maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Is what like when they were watching it. Yeah. Because like it's 20 years old, but they just watched it for the first time and loved it. It's almost timeless.
It is. I mean, that's why it's like one of those franchises. It is iconic, and like it's still like when I got cast in it, I didn't even know it was still going on. Yeah. But like it has such like a niche fan base that are like that will never leave it. But
if they called you back to play a role in it, would you do it?
We'd have to talk.
Okay, yeah. You said the price yesterday isn't today's
price. They do. They didn't ask me back. I don't know.
I was gonna say they've had again. My kids watch it.
Yeah, they do.
They had a recent episode where like every Ranger came.
But also too, like the franchise has changed hands so much. So like I think like when I did it, it was like 5 years when like Disney owned it, and then Disney sold it to Hasbro, and then Saban bought it, and then so like the franchise changes hands, and sometimes they'll give like they're like more deferential to like certain Rangers from a certain time. Yeah. So it just also depends on who owns the franchise.
Yeah. Okay.
I liked Power Rangers on WB when it was the frog walking across, and I used to play it.
You used to watch the Power Rangers?
Me and cousin Brandon.
It's a past our time. Because even the first Power Rangers is like I was already.
It was part of my Dragon Ball Z,
Oh,
Cartoon
yeah.
Network lineup. Yep.
It's all like intertwined in that
Yep,
world, right?
yep.
Did you have to take any type of like fighting and martial
Yeah,
arts?
yeah. So they flew us out there like 3 weeks early, and we had to
Mhm.
do 2 weeks of like martial arts training. So the whole stunt team was from Japan.
Mhm.
Like spoke no English. The dopest stunt people I've
Wow.
ever seen. Like they just fly them in, and we had to train with these guys who were like it wasn't. We got hurt. Everybody got injured.
Oh wow.
And then we ended up doing no stunts because like they were so efficient.
Mm-hmm.
And like we'd have to shoot 2 units, so like they would never. It would take me a whole day to do like a fight scene, and they'll do it in like 2 takes.
Yeah.
So I was like, why did y'all put us through all of that?
And they're in the outfit anyway.
They're
right?
in the out. No, well because we do some of the acting too.
Yeah.
So like for instance, like my stunt double was like a Japanese dude, and they just like painted his face and like put dreads on him. I don't know if you can do that anymore.
Oh, I was gonna say.
Yeah, no, but I have photos.
Yeah. He was in blackface.
Oh, that's
I
hilarious.
mean,
With dreads. Ooh.
It's a different time, man.
Yeah.
He says a different time.
Yeah.
That was 20 years ago.
Right.
That's a
Wow.
little soft shoe.
Yeah.
So you've done Graceland, you've done a lot of TV.
Live TV.
Which would be, because you say you knew that you could make it a viable career once you did that, right?
Yeah.
Which TV show that you did where you was like, okay, I'm here, I have arrived, even though I know nothing is guaranteed, but I can kind of exhale a little bit.
You know what? I think it's funny. I think because like my career has been very gradual. Like I didn't come in and start booking series regulars. Like I said, I started like one-liners, and then one-liners turned into like one episode in a season, and then we do a little 4-episode arc. And then I remember I started auditioning for like big stuff, like series regulars they call it. And I remember there was one audition that I actually didn't get where I was like, oh, I know I can do this. I'm just like not quite there yet. I think it was for a series regular in Stargate Atlantis. I don't know if you remember that. And I knew that they liked me, but I just wasn't ready yet. But I remember leaving the audition being like, okay, like I'm close. Like I just gotta like refine a few things, but I'm real close. And then after that, it's been like I've been lucky. Like it's been pretty consistent ever since. So it's like sometimes it's like the things that you perceive as a failure.
Yeah.
It's like no. Like they you could tell like they wanted me to get the part, but it was like I wasn't good enough yet.
What were those things that you felt like you had to refine?
I mean, I just think, I always tell actors like walk into a room with like 20 pages of dialogue is very different than walking in with 4. And so I just didn't have the reps of like being in the room with that much material in an audition space. And that's just something that I needed to get used to. And so at the time, and then I just started to like, I was like, I just want to audition as much as possible. I'll do anything. I'll do anything for free. Student films. I just want to get reps.
Right.
Just so like it's like sports, right?
Right.
The more reps you get, I want it to become second nature. But I remember that one audition, I was like, oh, I didn't get it, but like I'm like right there. And then, once you kind of figure that part out, then it's just like a matter of taste if you're the right person for the job or whatever. But I knew that I still had like a little bit more to go on my end before, things would start happening.